Hey guys, welcome to Narcotics with Nagandhi, where we get high off conversation. Today I want to talk about depression and suicide. The two of these things go hand in hand. Suffering depression is something that is very hard. There's a mental imbalance in your head that's happening. If you are suffering from depression, you need to go and see a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist can give you medications to help balance your head. A psychiatrist can speak to you and talk to you about the things that you're thinking and what's going on in your head. A psychiatrist is very important if you're going through depression. What's also important is that you surround yourself with loved ones, friends, and family. Talk to them about your depression. I know it's hard, but you have to speak to your family. Talk to them about what you're feeling, about what's going on in your head, and try to get support from them. For those who are helping somebody who's going through depression, it's very hard. You don't know what you can do. But the best thing that you can do for somebody who's suffering depression is to show them positive things. Take them for a walk, take them out for dinner, take them dancing, take them to a nightclub, make them dance, make them enjoy, make them have fun. It's the best cure for depression is, to go out, have a good time, get together with friends, have a party, do something exciting for that person. I myself have suffered depression. I'll tell you my personal story. I've suffered depression at least 4 to 5 times, and suicide definitely came into my head. I was very close to committing suicide at least 2 or 3 times, but I saved myself because at least there was a friend there for me, or I myself realized, oh my God, what's going on? One time I was in Canada, in Toronto, and I wanted to commit suicide, so I actually called 911 and said, hey, listen, I'm suffering and I want to commit suicide. They came immediately and they took me to a hospital. In Canada, there's hospitals that you can be in if you're suffering depression. However, Canada has the worst healthcare for depression. I'll tell you my personal story about my father. My father suffered depression for 8 to 9 years. He would always get in depression in Canada. And once he was in depression, I would tell him, Dad, come here to India. He would have depression every single year. So he would spend half the time with me in India. I'd get him better, send him back to Canada. Again, he'd get depression. I'd bring him back here, get him better, send him back, and it was an ongoing thing. I got my dad out of 7 depressions. How did I do it? Well, my dad loves dancing. And so I would take my dad dancing at least 2 to 3 times a week. And dancing made him happier. It got him a little bit more excited. And he always had 24-hour people with him. So he was with the driver, and the driver would take him out to nice places. The driver would make him feel good. The driver would talk to him. He would have dinner with my driver, my 24-hour staff. There was always somebody that was with him. Unfortunately, you can't have this in Canada. In Canada, you can't have somebody who's with you 24 hours a day. But in India, you can, and that's why I say that the best place for a depressed person to be is in India. The psychiatrists here are also very good. And if you're Indian, when you're in India, you're with your culture. It feels a lot better. So any Indian who's suffering depression, please come to Mumbai, and I promise it'll be much better for you. Anyways, my dad, during his last depression, he did come here to India. I made him take a flight. He took a first-class flight. He must have spent $5,000 for his ticket, but he made his way over here. I had told my dad, you have to move to India. So he had actually packed up all his things, and it was sitting in a warehouse in Toronto, just ready to be shipped. And I wanted my dad to move to India. However, my brother made me and my father fight, and my brother took my dad back to Toronto, where they have the worst health care for depression. My father was stuck in the hospital the first day he landed in Canada. He wanted to commit suicide. He called my brother. My brother took him to the hospital. He was in the hospital for so long. I sent a letter from the psychiatrist here stating that my dad needs to come back to India. However, my brother wouldn't listen. My brother also made my dad stop talking to me, so that was terrible. Anyways, I finally got to Canada and I see my dad, and he was in the worst state. I've never seen him in such a bad state. My brother kept him in a senior home. He didn't even keep him at home with him. He kept him in a senior home, and my dad wasn't sleeping well. I think the psychiatrist didn't give him good sleeping medications. He should have been taking at least 4 milligrams of sleeping pills. It's called Lopez, but he was taking only 2 milligrams. Anyways, everybody said my dad wouldn't dance again. I took him out. I made him dance. Things were a lot better when I was there with my dad, but again, I didn't have the 24-hour help like I do here in India. And finally, I made my brother understand that my dad has to come back to India with me, and we had booked the flight tickets for my dad to come back with me. However, one day, the senior home is just on the first floor, but one day I took my dad to his apartment, which is on the 18th floor, and we had an amazing day. He had a beautiful patio. We spent the whole day on the patio. We had a beautiful lunch. We went to the gym. We went to the sauna, the steam room, and we came back upstairs. I said, Dad, you have to make dinner for us. He's like, I can't make dinner. I said, sure you can, Dad. And so he did. He made us rajma chawal, which is kidney beans and rice. It was an amazing dinner. We had a fantastic dinner. My dad had even told me that he's not going to commit suicide. It's too hard to do. It's something that he's not going to do. So we went to bed that night. I didn't think that he was going to do anything. So we all went to sleep, and my husband woke up at about 4 or 5 in the morning. He saw that the balcony door was open, and he went out there and looked down, and there was my dad. My dad committed suicide. He jumped off the 18th floor. The worst time is in the night. If you can't sleep, everything negative goes through your mind. The very next day, we were supposed to go to the psychiatrist, where I was going to ask the psychiatrist to change his meds, because I had brought his meds from India, but my brother said, don't change them until you talk to the psychiatrist. So sadly, my dad didn't have enough sleeping pills. He wasn't sleeping at night. All the bad thoughts were going through his mind, and he jumped off the balcony. My heart broke. I was completely devastated. All I could do was blame myself and say, why didn't I stay up the whole night in case he woke up? All I could do is blame myself and say, why didn't I give him more sleeping medication? Everything was just on me. I felt terrible. Imagine, I mean, my dad was like a rock star. He is the #1 party guy. He dances like crazy. You can go on to YouTube and search his name. His name is Narendra Nagandhi. He has a YouTube channel, he has a Facebook page, and you can see him dancing. He dances amazing. And again, like I said, whenever he came to India, I would take him dancing. My brother doesn't like to dance. He's completely opposite from me. So sadly, he didn't get the care that I would give him. And I'm so mad at my brother for making us fight and taking my dad back to Canada, because if he stayed in India with me, and if he moved here to India, he would have still been here with us today. So anyways, that's my personal story about my dad. Again, I myself have suffered depression, but I have been strong enough to get out of it with the help of a psychiatrist and my husband as well. Again, if you're going through depression, try to speak to people, try to talk to them. Don't keep it to yourself. Try to find help. I know it's hard when somebody's suffering depression. They don't really want to talk to somebody else. They don't want to tell other people what they're feeling or what they're going through. And if you're somebody who's trying to help somebody through depression, like I said, take them out, take them partying, take them to do fun things, try to change their mind and try to change their mindset. There's no black and white written thing of how you can get somebody out of depression, but you have to try different things. And again, if you're going through depression, guys, please, 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 if you're going through depression, try to have somebody who's around you 24 hours a day. If you know somebody who has depression, try to keep somebody around them 24 hours a day. Make sure they have the right amount of sleeping pills. You don't want them to wake up in the middle of the night. If they wake up in the middle of the night, that's the worst time, and they will definitely commit suicide. So it's very important that they're taking the right amount of sleeping pills to make sure that they're going to sleep the entire night. All right, guys, that's all I have to say about depression and suicide. Again, they go hand in hand. I'm sure you've read many stories of people committing suicide, and it's a very, very tragic thing. It's not fun. It's not nice. It feels terrible to have experienced somebody who has committed suicide. And again, once that does happen, all you can do is think of what could you have done better. All I do is blame myself, but it's really not me who I have to blame. My dad was here with me in India, and I could have gotten better, but unfortunately my brother doesn't like me. I think my brother didn't want my dad to move to India. He wanted to have control of him. I'm not sure. Anyways, guys, that's my 2 cents. That's my personal stories, and I wish you guys all a great day. Hope you enjoyed my video, and hope you got a few things out of this. Thanks so much, guys. Hasta la vista.